Hello everybody, this is Hammer Striker here. Today I've got the Taurus GX4 and the Ruger Max 9. Please don't forget to check out our website. Go to our affiliates page. You'll find discount codes for things like Mantis Axe and Core belts, linked to that cool little bore light that we use for lighting up the barrels. Use those links. It will often save you money, never will cost you any additional money, and helps the channel. Thank you. Though these guns have actually been out for a little while, they are the latest from each of these two companies in the high-capacity Micro 9 territory. So we'll start with the Max 9 that I've got right here by Ruger. It comes with two magazines. It comes with a 10-round flush magazine, and it comes with a 12-round extended magazine that basically is just an extender base plate that the factory adds to the 10-round body. And you get one of each of these with it. There is a 10-round only version available. It would just come with two of these for those restrictive states. And the 10-round magazine is basically a two-finger grip, and it's kind of molds in real well. It's kind of designed nicely and doesn't pinch or anything. And there's a nice undercut, so you can really get up in there. When you put the extended magazine in, they did a really good job of continuing the body frame into it. So when you get it, you got a three-finger grip, and it's nice and smooth and well formed, and even the pattern continues. So they did a really good job with their extended magazine of making it look nice. So let's look at the Taurus. So the Taurus has it beat in capacity because its small mag is 11 rounds, and it fits nice and flush. Really kind of fits in there well, and there's kind of a lip, so it really kind of prevents pinching. And it's a two-finger grip. And it also comes with this 13-round magazine, which is pretty much, again, kind of like the Ruger, just an extended base plate attached to the 11-round body. This one is, it blends well and it's nice, but it's not quite as well executed as the Ruger. It does look like a base plate added on more than the Ruger does. And you've got this little notch in here. Happily, the notch is big enough that it can't pinch, but when you grab the gun, you feel it. You actually feel that little notch in there. I would have liked it better if it were fully smooth, and it is kind of rounded at the back. This also has a 10-round only version available for restricted states, and it would again just be two of these. With the Taurus, you get two of these from the factory. You don't get, I'm sorry, it would be two of the magazines like this, but they would be limited to 10 rounds. You get two of the flush mags with most of the Taurus packages. This is an additional magazine you can buy. But they both do come with two magazines to start with. Taurus also has a decent undercut. It's just less obvious. It kind of just flows up as opposed to being an obvious kind of a cut. But both of them are comfortable to hold. Two-finger grip with the flush mag and three with the extended mag. One thing that the Taurus has that's not common in this category is a replaceable backstrap. So it comes with the backstrap that's on it, and it comes with one other backstrap. This happens to be the larger of the two. The one that normally is on the gun's a little bit flusher. But that's not something that this particular category commonly has. So that is a nice feature of the Taurus. Both of them have similarly designed sights. The Ruger, which is the one right here, has, this one is the Ruger, has a tritium fiber optic sight at the front and a kind of a blackout sight with a U that you could paint or put wax in. The Taurus has a white dot sight and a blackout rear sight with no U, so it'd be a little more difficult to put any kind of indication on the back sights. And the sights on both of these guns, the sights are steel, which is a nice feature. Now you'll see that the Ruger is optics ready. All of the Max 9s are optics ready. And you'll see that this Taurus isn't, but don't worry, there is a version they call the Toro that is optics ready. And it's just a different version you buy, so you don't have to have this milled. You can buy this as an optics-ready gun. This one, when I bought this one, I didn't get the optics-ready version. From a price perspective, the MSRP on the Ruger is $579, which, by the way, every time I've looked this gun up to do a video with it, the MSRP has crept up. It started out under $500, and then it went to $549, and now it's $579. The Taurus, for the equivalent one, the optics ready version would be $450, and the MSRP on the one that I'm showing you right here is $400. So the Taurus definitely beats the Ruger on price. Comes in $120+ cheaper if you were to configure them both the same in the optics ready versions. They both have front and rear serrations, and they both lack a rail, which the rail is surprising. A lot of guns in this category are actually now coming with rails, and neither one of these do, and neither one of these are super popular, so it's not like you're going to have a lot of aftermarket support for trigger guard lasers like you do with Glock. While I've got them sitting like this, let's talk about dimensions, because dimensionally these guns are so close that it's almost statistically unimportant. So the Ruger is 6 inches long front to rear. The Taurus is 5.8, so it's a little bit shorter front to rear. The Ruger is 4.52 from top to bottom with the flush mag, and the Taurus is 4.4. So the Taurus has a smaller dimensional footprint. However, Ruger's going to win on thickness. The Ruger is 0.95 and the Taurus is 1.08. That can make more of a difference probably with concealed carry than the other dimensions. But neither one of these things are huge, so neither one of these are going to really stand out enough to make a big difference. And weight is really close. The Ruger is 18.4 and the Taurus is 18.5. So weight's another one that is not going to make a difference in your decision-making process of which one of these you would like. I will say that the Ruger has an overall nicer finish. It's just, it looks nicer, it stays nicer looking. The Taurus finish, for lack of a better description, looks dry. It looks chalky. And you can see where it's been bumped up against things. And this has not been really holstered a lot or anything. This has mostly been taken to the range. But you can see that it shows a little bit of wear. I don't know how well long-term the Taurus's finish will hold up compared to the Ruger. But again, we're not buying something like this necessarily for looks. This isn't a showpiece, it's a carry piece. Now let's talk about warts, because both of these have a few warts. So the Taurus, when I took it out of the box, it fell apart. The slide just slid right off. You have this screw that you rotate, and it rotates horizontal, and then you can take it apart. And right out of the box, it was rotated that way, so as soon as I took it out of the box, it fell apart. So okay, that could have been that somebody at the FFL was playing around with it before they packaged it up to ship it, because I bought this one online, and then it got sent to a local FFL. But when I put it back together and cycled it, it's supposed to reset itself, and it didn't. So no matter what I did with it, I would still have to manually reset the takedown screw. So that was kind of a negative. I almost thought that the descriptions that I saw online about that being self-resetting weren't actually true. Took it to the range, shot it. After taking it to the range, that started working correctly. It started self-resetting, so that when you took it apart, put it back together and cycled it, it would reset it. The only other problem we had with this, and this one I'm going to kind of ignore, is one of the times it locked open with a round in the magazine. And it's very possible one of us actually pushed up on the slide stop while we were firing it in the last round and locked back, even though there was ammo available. It didn't do that more than once, and the takedown issue hasn't recurred. But it is a little bit of an initial quality issue that did resolve itself. The Ruger has an issue in that it just is really loose, and if I pull the trigger, it gets even worse. And I'll also do it by holding the frame still, and you can see that the slide rocks a lot. In theory, that could affect aim and everything, but kind of in practice it won't, because the sights and the barrel are moving together. When you see it, the barrel is moving together. So the package of the barrel and the sights are still lined up. And I was able to pull tight groups with this. It didn't fly all over the place. I was able to pull decent groups with both of these. The biggest problem I had with either one of these pulling tight groups was the blackout sights, being able to properly line up. But I could pull good enough groups with either one of these that this little issue is it's not going to make it where you can't shoot this well, but it doesn't reek of quality. I don't like when you get something like that. Plus, when you're carrying it, it's possible it'll make noise as you're moving about, and one of the things you don't want is your carry gun announcing itself to everybody. So that, to me, is probably the biggest negative on the Ruger, along with the price. The price of this puts it up in the tech category of the Hellcats and the P365s and a lot of other better built guns overall. So they've kind of priced themselves into a territory where they should be better. The Taurus, kind of give it a little pass on the finish, because they're pricing themselves below all those other guns. So you're getting into a little bit of an economy gun, and because that problem went away after a while, I would say that the Taurus probably is a better overall quality than the Ruger, despite the finish difference. So let's talk about the business part of it, the trigger. So it's a plastic trigger with an inertial dongle, and it does have an internal drop safety, but no thumb safety. Just a really, really short take up, and then you sit on a noticeable wall, but it's a really smooth, easy to pull through wall, right around the 6-pound territory. Actually quite short reset, and then a hair of take up to get back on the wall, and then it breaks again. And one thing I'll show you, there's the reset, and there's all the way out. So the reset really isn't much shorter than the overall pull, but the overall pull itself is so short that it effectively has a nice short reset. This actually has a very nice trigger. So we'll move to the Ruger. The Ruger has the inertial toggle, internal drop safety. This particular one does not have a thumb safety, but there is a version that does have the thumb safety. This is the Pro, so it doesn't. One difference is the trigger on the Ruger is metal. And it's a nice feeling trigger. When you put your finger on it, it just feels nice. It's smooth and blends in well. A little bit more take up, because I end up taking all the way back to here before I get on the wall. Oops, I don't think I cycled this one, so let me do that again. So there is the take up, right to there. And then kind of a little bit of a longer wall, nice and smooth, a nice break. Kind of a longish reset with very little tactile. I could kind of hear it, kind of feel it, but really barely. Right on the wall after a bit of take up and then a break again. The reset on this is decent, but the Taurus overall I think has a nicer trigger feel and operation. The metal trigger is a nice feature on the Ruger, but functionally the Taurus seemed to have a better overall trigger. So kind of the way I would look at this is, if you're looking at it between these two, I would choose the Taurus. The Taurus, other than that initial quality issue, really seems to be overall a better gun. If you don't like the Taurus for some reason, once you look at this, you'll find yourself in the price territory of better guns. The Hellcats, the P365s, and things like that. So if the Taurus is not something that you like, and you're going to move up into that close to $600 territory, then buy a close to $600 gun rather than the Ruger, which doesn't quite fit into that category. Beyond that, if you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, click that bell up there to be notified if you do. Check us out on Facebook, Patreon, Instagram, Twitter, Getter, Rumble, pretty much everywhere. And thank you.